selection.
Can I stop you, Mr. Mayor? That was not a question.
They cut yourselves loose.
That was a point of explanation. That was not a question, and it doesn't require a response. I will move on to the third question, which is about serious incidents involving London buses and members of the public, which is in the name of Assembly Member Tracy.
You want another question?
Yes, please. That's what I said.
Sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Dick. Thank you for all the work you've been doing in this area. Actually, what's been happening is that the number of killed and seriously injured people in London, or people who have been killed or seriously injured as a result of a collision with a bus or a coach, has more than halved since 2000 to 195 KSIs on London's roads in 2013, and the number of bus passengers has more than halved since 2000, and the pedestrians, otherwise those outside the bus, has gone down to 69, which is the lowest level on record. I just give you it's very interesting. If you look at the statistics for the last few years, for pedestrians who come into contact with a bus under Labour, no, I'm being frivolous, but if you look at the figures, 2004, 134, 2005, 141, 137, 140, 133, then it drops dramatically in 9, 10, 11, 12 and 2013. It's been coming down and down. Now, I think that actually, and Val has raised the issue of TfL employees, that is a tribute to London's bus drivers, who in my view are becoming more and more sensitive. They are very well trained, and I applaud them for the alertness they generally show. Yes, we could do better, and yes, there are black spots. I know you're worried about some of those black spots, but I think you should look at the record, look at the achievement of London's bus service, considering the huge number of journeys that are made by bus now, the huge crowding on our streets, the constant risks that pedestrians are running, and I think that's a creditable achievement, though there is obviously more to be done.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good to hear the statistics you've pulled out of your briefing, but of course TfL have just started producing statistics for bus casualties and hospitalisations in response to a report which my colleagues and I wrote a few months ago. I mean, this is the first time that they've come out with these statistics, and it is for the first quarter of 2014. Now, what we would like to see is...
it's for the last 10 years, I've just given.
Well, we would like to see published on the website of TfL far more detail, particularly, as you've just mentioned, I am very keen to see the hotspots particularly identified, and indeed then to see TfL take some action about those particular hotspots and the boroughs, because at the moment the boroughs do not know whether they've had more bus accidents or not, and it's about time they did.
Look, I mean, you're quite right, Dick. You can never be complacent about this. I just want to draw your attention to the good work. I think it'd be wrong if we didn't do something to congratulate and to praise those who are trying very hard to deal with what is a difficult problem, and they are making progress. If you can look at the KSI figures, there was one KSI person killed or seriously injured for every 10 million bus journeys undertaken each year in London, compared to one in every 1.8 million car journeys. So that's a much smaller ratio there, and one KSI involving a motorcycle for every 100,000 journeys. So buses, by and large, have a pretty good record, but clearly there is more that could be done. And I go back to what I was saying the last time we met. We are now on target to meet our 40% reduction in the number of people killed or seriously injured on London's roads by 2020 on a 2005 to 2009 baseline.
Yes, I don't deny your recognition of the skill of the bus drivers. I mean, we got 7,500 buses on London's roads, and a very large number of bus drivers having to negotiate through traffic and all the congestion and so on.
And many more cyclists.
And many more cyclists, indeed. And that's perfectly true, that the bus drivers do often mention that very fact. But it does, I'm sure you must agree that it would be very helpful to know where the particular hotspots around in London are exactly, so that action could be taken at those hotspots.
As I'm trying to, I think Victoria has done some excellent work on Oxford Street, and as I recall, the risks that pedestrians run in Oxford Street. I think the hotspots are pretty well known to us. If I can supply you with any detailed information, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Well, I think if you could ask TfL to give us more detail, we appreciate what they've given us, but we could do with some more, and perhaps also if they would consider taking some action against any particular bus contracting companies that have a very bad record.
Yes.
And this is something else that campaigners about this matter, and some who've actually been seriously injured, this is what they ask for.
Yes. I mean, if there is such evidence, I'd be happy to share it with you. Though I just want to repeat the overall picture, which I think is very positive.
Thank you.
Assembly Member Darren Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Will you agree to rewrite bus contracts to include casualty reduction as a performance target, so there's actually a financial incentive for bus companies to treat road safety more seriously?
Well, I think we have, as I've tried to point out just now, we have some pretty good processes in hand to ensure that bus drivers...
And this could be an even better one.
Let's finish the answer. To ensure that bus drivers do have the training that they need, and this is against a background of continuing reductions in the numbers of people killed and seriously injured. If there's some advantage in rewriting a contract, I'm prepared to look at it, Darren.
Thank you. So you will look at it?
I will look at it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No further commitment.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Just a quick one. I think whilst, of course, we should be extremely pleased to welcome that the figures are moving the right way, 3 people a week are hospitalised because of a contact with a bus, and I'm sure you'd like to acknowledge to their families and others, obviously that's a very traumatic situation. So I don't want us around this horseshoe to trivialise sadly that there are effects.
Absolutely not.
When this does
and we all know people whose families have been absolutely blighted by cataclysmic accidents involving buses, and very often pedestrians who have been struck through absolutely no fault of their own. That obviously isn't universally the case, but what you say is very true, and we should certainly reflect on that.
Thank you.
Right. The next question is about the police holding